We are live. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. I'm your host, Blake Ruffino, and this is Are You Serious Sports? I hope that you guys are making it a good one. I know that me and Pooh Bear are as well. Huge show in store for you tonight. I'm just going to go ahead and put Bayou Bingo 84's comment up because he's right. See, when I'm wrong, I'll admit where I'm wrong. Bayou Bingo 84 says, Blake, you said we could, keyword there, sweep this weekend. Blake, make no more predictions, bro. You're right. He is right, but I still thought that they could. But we'll talk about LSU getting swept this weekend for the first time in its history. Ole Miss sweeps LSU in Baton Rouge. Absolutely horrific performance on Friday. It bled over into Saturday morning and Saturday evening. And then it bled over until today. Now, the key thing is Jay Johnson had some key words for his players after the games yesterday. What's going on with this team? Because Jay Johnson seems to think that the focus and leadership is dwindling. That's from his press conference yesterday. So we will touch on LSU getting swept. LSU strikes out 34 times this series. 34 times. It's not Jacob Berry. Jacob Berry's middle finger being broken is not the reason why we lost and got swept in the series. Yes, I have the middle finger up, but I'm just showing you the finger he broke. I mean, I'm not telling anybody anything, but his middle finger's broken. Mike Scarborough from TigerBait.com. His YouTube channel is skyrocketing. Go check him out at LSU Tigers on TigerBait. But he says, you're a good man, Charlie Brown. I will admit where I am wrong, unlike some in media. Bayou Bingo says you did say could. I thought that they could. Ole Miss had a losing SEC record. LSU was the top 8 potential seeding and could have hosted a super regional. Guys, they're not going to now. Well, they could. Here's another could. They need to sweep Vandy and win a couple of games in Hoover. That's not very likely. It's not highly likely. But you never know in baseball. Nurse Court sends $4.99 via Super Chat. She says, therapy bill for being LSU baseball fan this offseason, or really just this season. Really ever. Yeah, we just mentioned that. I'm not panicking on Jay Johnson. I'm not panicking. Go look at Paul Maneri's record his first season. I'm not panicking. I'm not going to panic over a first-year head coach, especially when they have a winning record. Kenny Russell said, just saw a crystal ball went in for Shelton Sampson, the wide receiver from – I'm not going to say it. Catholic. Should I say it? Catholic. Where was the – let me guess, A&M? Kenny, where was the crystal ball to? Dylan on Facebook says, LSU had a bad series and Ole Miss is hot at the right time. I agree. I mean, if you want to – wrap it all in a bow, you could put it in there. So, but we got a lot to talk about, so let's do that. We got to pay some bills around this thing. I got to pay Pooh Bear and Zach. Zach's not here with us because he's got to go get another haircut to look like Tim Tebow. You know? So we do got to pay some bills around this thing. Everybody do us a favor by hitting the like and share if you're on Facebook. So many of you join us. Do us a favor by hitting the like and share. Share to all your favorite Facebook groups. If you're listening to us on YouTube, so many of you that listen and watch us still have not subscribed. Do us a favor by hitting that subscribe button and notification bell. If you're listening to us on the audio podcast platform, probably our biggest area of growth over the last couple months is our audio podcast side. So do us a favor, hit the like or the follow, subscribe, leave us a review. It helps us grow even more when you do that. Please, please, please rate, review, and subscribe there as well. So let's pay some bills. None better than our good friends over at BetOnline and GM Varndo and Sons. Our partners over at BetOnline continue to be the number one source for all of your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest sports developments, including updated odds on the NBA playoffs, fights, and even next season's futures. And don't forget that the MLB is back as well. Who are you picking to win the World Series? BetOnline is your continued source for all of your sports wagering needs, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino and poker games. It's easy to get started, so head on over to their website, use betonline.ag, use that promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, that's BLEAV, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag, betonline.ag. With over 65 years of experience, nobody is better equipped to service in your vehicle than GM Varnado & Sons. RV repair, big rig overhauls, motorhome chassis, routine maintenance, tire rotations, tire sales. No job is too big or too small over at GM. If you break down the side of the road in the greater Baton Rouge area, they will come and get you. And the best thing about that is that they can come and get you, and then they can bring your vehicle back to their shop and start the repairs right then. Again, GM Varnado & Sons. Go see them over at 2500 Fuller Boulevard. Give them a call at 225-664-9992, 225-664-9992. Tell them your good friend Blake Ruffino sent you on by. I do agree with Danny Girl. She throws in a comment here on YouTube. She says, I'm sorry, yes, Ole Miss is hot at the right time, but that does not excuse the errors Saturday that started the ball rolling in the wrong direction. I agree. I 1,000% agree. A lot of people were sending me DMs and messages and all this kind of stuff about not wanting to watch the show. Everybody do us a favor too. Everybody stop right now. Stop what you're doing. If you're listening to us right now, hit the like and share. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, do us a favor. Hit the like and share. Look, I'm not going to, people said they didn't want to hear a rant, but I mean, if you're being realistic, it's going to be a rant. You can't strike out 34 times in a series and think that you're going to win. You guys, we don't have I think outside of Mikael Hilliard, which Mikael did get rocked around Friday night, guys, we don't have anybody that you could have any type of faith in when you got in as a starting pitcher. I mean, maybe you can say Jacob Hasty today. I mean, I guess technically you could say Dutton started if you want to be very technical. I'm not about that life. I think that's, there are some unwritten rules in baseball that you just don't do. I think Jay Johnson committed one of those unwanted rules and errors today by doing what he did and taking out Dutton the way that he did after one batter, and you gave up a double, but whatever. I mean, Hasty wasn't even throwing because you got beat down yesterday. It was on a bad trend Friday night, and the rain saved you. Shout out to Ty Floyd and shout out to Jacob Hasty. Without those two guys, you're legitimately not in this series at all. There's no reason whatsoever you should get swept by we got a bot up in here. But there's no reason why we should be getting swept by Ole Miss at home. It feels as if, and look, Saturday, Jay Johnson, and I wasn't able to clip this audio. Maybe the Golden Boot podcast will do it tonight. They go on at 7:30. But in the post-game press conference, Jay Johnson teed off on his team, talking about how they're not ready, they're not focused. They're not focused at their at-bats. They're playing lackadaisical, I think was the word that he used. Right? Like lackadaisical. I mean, I don't mean to be rude, but when you have your head coach calling your team out like that, what does he know that we don't? Why is he saying that? It is aggravating to watch this team sometimes, especially when it comes to pitching and especially when it comes to fielding. I don't mean this in a wrong way. K. Doty is a bona fide MLB guy. He's going to get drafted second, third, fourth round. Wherever he gets drafted, he's going to have a very long career. Like a very, very long career. But at some point, when we talk about fielding, Jay Johnson's got to go to his starting second baseman and say, stop dropping to a knee. Guys, this is basic baseball bullshit that we can't accomplish on a given day. Every single weekend. Stop going to a knee. Square the ball up, field the ball, put it to your midsection, set your feet, fire. It's that simple. If a ball's hit hard at you, okay, whatever. I'm able to live with that. I'm not able to live with the small little dribblers that we're committing errors on. You know, every time I turn around, it seems as if everybody's like, oh, it's okay, Blake. They'll get better once he gets his guys in here. Why is K. Doty still going down to a knee? I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, Jay will forget more baseball than I probably will ever know. Right? But at some point, you got to start tell Cade to switch something up. Pearson in right field, I'm able to live with it. But nevertheless, though, this game does come down to you got to be good at, not even good, but great at the basics. Great at the basics. Apparently everybody's firing in on this question, so let me just go ahead and answer it. But Bayou Bengal 84 says, at Blake Ruffino, man, I have heard rumors that Blake Money has a bad attitude problem and was off the team in the dugout when he was having a bad outing, and that Drew Grahamco had to check him. That's a true story. So 1,000% true story. Blake has always had a very quick temper. Nevertheless, the 3 runs that were scored on him, here's what the worst part is. Blake Money was never a starting pitcher. His numbers the other night showed that he wasn't. His numbers a season ago showed that he is not a guy that can come in and start. The 3 runs that he gave up, 2 of them weren't even on him. The only earned run that he gave up was the home run. When you have a guy that's hit 16, I think, how many has Gonzalez hit this season? Like 15 or 16? When Gonzalez hits as many home runs as he does, guys, at this point, it's like facing a guy in Dylan Cruz. Okay, that guy's going to get you. At some point, that guy's going to get you. But the first pitch that Blake Money even came in on, K. Doty goes down to a knee again on a routine. Like, I'm talking about like routine as a traffic light. Routine as Voldemort going after Harry Potter. Like routine. I don't know. Speaking of Harry Potter, I don't know what this team needs. Like, do we need an expecto patronum up in this thing to get the fielding better? And it's even worse when it comes from Mississippi. So let me put it in a country accent. The boy who lived come to die. Havana Cadabra. I don't know. Mikey says, hey, Blake can't recruit. Yeah, you're right. I can't recruit. I've never recruited before. He said, we just got a tank at running back. We'll talk about Trey Holly. Trust me, we'll get to Trey Holly. I know a lot of people don't like talking baseball talk, but guys, it's the second most loved sport in Baton Rouge, in LSU. So, no. Stephen Frey says, dropping to a knee because he doesn't trust his hands happens to a lot of kids. They just worry about knocking the ball down. But hell, he hasn't done that either. I know he hasn't done that either. But at some point, you got to let him trust his hands. I mean, Stephen, I would make the argument, why is he trusting his hands at third instead of second? I mean, see ball, catch ball, throw ball. I mean, that is the most basic thing of all time. The Gold Boot Podcast says, yeah, I don't think we'll be talking baseball. Yeah, figures. I mean, with all that knowledge that's probably in Daniel's big head, you would think that he would be able to memorize stats by just seeing them. You know what I mean? I mean, like, I don't know, man. That thing's wide, bro. I mean, this. I mean, I don't even know how to explain it. I mean, that thick, 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 thick. Uh-oh, got another bot. And we got people in the studio. Wonder who it is. Nurse Court says Chris Mississippi voice. No, that no. Ain't nothing that country. Let me tell y'all something too. I had a biscuit this morning. I put some jelly on it. I was thinking about putting it in my grits just to try it. And I was like, how am I going to defame my grits? Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Wesley. Uh-oh. Look at this. Typical liberal talking down to country folks. F Joe Biden. Well, Wesley, let me just say this. How am I a liberal? Please tell me. Because I'm making fun of country folks? Dude, do you know where I'm from? People 65 and above try to make everything about politics. Meanwhile, your two divorces, your severed retirement, you don't have your 401k no more, and your AARP card just got lost in the mail because you don't deserve it. Get out of here with politics. Snoozed. Guys, don't bring politics up in here, bro. Bayou Bingo 84 says, I was confident we were going to be hosting a regional, but at this point, I'm not sure about that anymore. No, you're going to have to make a good push in the tournament. You're going to have to probably sweep next weekend. I mean, you're legitimately going to have to sweep next weekend, and you're going to, I don't want to say you're going to have to get there to the end. You're going to have to get to the finale, but you're going to have to get close. You're going to have to get very close. So, yeah. There was some more big news, so we can talk about some positive stuff. Everybody do us a favor by hitting the like and share. But Robin says, number 1 Louisiana running back, let's go. Yes, if you missed it, hold on one second, guys. But Robin had to yell at the kids in there. But she says, number one running back, baby, let's go. Trey Holly, the number 1 running back in the state, has committed to LSU. I thought Brian Kelly couldn't recruit. Oh, my God. What about me and IL? Oh, my God. Brian Kelly's worried about other kids from other states. That's how I hear it. Like, that's how I hear people complaining about Brian Kelly and this recruiting. Guys, it was always going to take some time, a little bit of time. Trey Holly's here. Relax, bro. Every time LSU fans and media freak out about Brian Kelly, every time, within the next couple of weeks, things start popping. Guys, as we've said on this show, within the next 4 to 6 weeks, there's going to be some commitments. Newsflash, breaking news for you. Listen. In the next 4 to 6 weeks, you're going to continue to get more commitments. Trey Holly is the first domino to drop in a long list of dominoes that will be falling for LSU with kids inside the state of Louisiana. Fact. It's going to happen. Calm down. However, something interesting. Trey Holly in high school had over, I think, close to 6,000 total yards the last 2 seasons and damn near 80 touchdowns. 80 touchdowns. Let me see if I got the stats right here. Hold on. I don't have them. But 80 touchdowns and 5,000 rushing yards or total yards is absolutely fantastic. Marcus says country people can't make fun of country people. Yeah, I guess so. I guess. I mean, way down yonder on the Chattahoochee. Ryan Thibodeau says, shout out to Aunt Marshall. True. Golden Boot Pod. True. Robin says, you don't post your moves. You don't post your moves ever. Keep that shiznit on the DL. Absolutely, you keep it on the DL. Absolutely, you keep it on the DL. Brian Kelly's not, the leaks have gone minimal, and it's why people freak out the way that they freak out. So what? You don't know what's going on, man. Like, so what? I promise you it's going to be okay. Like, I legitimately promise you. So when he came in and LSU was 40th in the country in recruiting, and they went out and got more Louisiana kids and more kids in the portal, LSU gets a top 6 class. What do you think he's going to do now? I mean, like, guys, come on. Come on. It's not going to change. Terry Dillahuse says, to the rest of the nation, the whole Louisiana country. True. Let's see here. Stephen says third base is mostly reacting glove. Second base is more drawn out and gives him time to think. Then Stephen, then that would put to the argument to trust your hands. You know what I mean? Like, you got to trust your hands then. Robert Playson says, do you think LSU has a shot at Eli Holstein? Now, Eli Holstein was in Baton Rouge this weekend, but no, at the current moment, I don't. Unless they turn the heat up. But, I mean, Eli Holstein and his family completely left St. Thomas More when there was a kid by the name of Walker Howard that was there. I don't know if he's going to want to come and, I don't want to say compete with Walker Howard, because I think Eli Holstein will compete. And speaking of that, by the way, people freaking out on Arch Manning, relax. Let me tell you something about Arch Manning not going to this Elite 11 camp. Oh, Blake, he should go and want to compete. He's not your average high school recruit. Legitimately is not your average high school recruit. Blake, let him go compete. Guys, he doesn't need to. Compete for what? There's absolute, and get coaching. Like, you got people out here complaining about Arch Manning not going to the Elite 11 because of coaching. He can get coached up on some things. I don't really know how else to say this, but I think it's pretty interesting. He has 2 uncles that won 4 Super Bowls. Peyton Manning's his uncle. With all due respect to coaches out there, and I mean this with all due respect, Billy Joe Bob from Pine, Louisiana, is not going to teach Arch Manning something that Peyton Manning can't. But that's kind of been rubbing me the wrong way. Pause. Actually, if you're a man, you get a rub. That's not really a pause. Anyway. But Eli Holstein was in town this weekend, so I'm told. I think that they're going to continue to go after Dante Moore, though. That's my thought process. That's what I'm thinking. It would feel as if I don't know. I mean, will Holstein show some interest? The thing about it, though, is, guys, is that it's Bama versus LSU, and I don't know if Holstein, like, if it's LSU versus Bama, they'll use, oh, well, Bama beat out LSU. Well, it was never really the case. Like, this isn't coming down to LSU versus Bama really at this point. In my opinion, it's coming down to, will Eli Holstein come here and battle out? Speaking of battling quarterbacks, battle out Walker Howard. I don't know if he wants to do that. Guys, we already saw that he left schools. They completely picked up and went, I don't want to say across the state, but damn near from Lafayette to Zachary. I mean, it's not that far of a drive, but in the state of Louisiana, when it's more compact, I mean, what do you think? I mean, the kid legitimately left. So I don't know if Eli's going to end up there. Now, if you talk to people from Alabama, they feel more confident than most. Pooh Bear, Thumbs up or thumbs down? Can you hear the kiddos in the background? Okay. Let's do this. Let's take a quick break. We'll come right back. We got a lot to talk about, but we'll be back in 45 seconds. We'll be right back. Stand by. Guys, I've got to talk to you about our good friends over at Grahamco. They are the Delta 8 company based out of the state of Florida. They're founded by college football junkies just like you and I am not sure if you're familiar with Delta 8, but you need to be. Grahamco is the absolute leader in this field, and they have phenomenal products that I just need to tell you about. First off is the Wake and Bake coffee that is absolutely spectacular. The gummies are as well, as they're the best in the market. So go to thegrahamco.com right now and use the promo code AYS25. That's thegrahamco.com, AYS25 promo code to get 25% off of your order. Jump on this fast as it is perfect for holidays, anniversaries, and everyday use. Grahamco is hemp-derived and completely legal inside of the state of Louisiana. No medical card is needed, and shipping is very discreet. You must be 21 years older to order. Again, that's thegrahamco.com. Use that promo code AYS25. Well, there's not a lot I'm going to be able to do about it because I don't know. But if you're just going to have to tune out the kids for a minute because I just, got my rear end jumped. Craig Granger says, go Tigers. What's up, Craig? Ryan Thibodeau says, one gummy at a time. I need some gummies right now. Penn Jones says, I've watched hours of Arch Manning film, and he is overrated in his riding family name. Honestly think Eli is the better quarterback of the two. Maybe. Tiki Tac Taco says, oh no, Trent Dilfer won't be able to coach Arch. I hope he survives. I don't even think Trent's there anymore. Trent's a head coach at some private school in Memphis or Nashville, I believe. I don't even think he can coach that anymore. Dylan Smith says, Peyton and Eli has seen everything as a quarterback. I think Arch will be just fine. Yeah, and that's why I don't understand this whole Arch Manning thing. Look, do you want to get one of the two quarterbacks in your state? Sure. If you do miss on them, you have to go out of state to get a very top tier quarterback. The other thing is too that people aren't talking about is Ricky Collins. Ricky Collins could be in this mix. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'm not stressing out, and I'm not putting all my chips in for Eli Holstein to come here either. Like not even close, not even remotely close. Ant Marshall says, since BK has shown he wants a certain type of quarterback, when does Ricky Collins oh, there you go. And I think it's already started. I mean, you have Frank Wilson, Cortez, and Mickey Joseph at the Woodlawn spring game this past week. So I think that it will start to heat up, but I would assume that they would take Dante Moore over Ricky Collins. I like Ricky Collins as a quarterback. I think his throwing motion, if you watch it, he goes down, then he goes up instead of one fluid motion to throw. That's something that they got to work on. I'm not going to beat up on a high school quarterback that's that young on a very long windup of a throw, right? Like I'm not going to do that. Just because he has a long windup doesn't mean he can't fix that. That's literally like, stay here and throw. Stay here and throw. Brandon Reese says, hashtag Ask Blake, I see what we got Trey Holly for next year. We do. Huge commitment. Chris English says Collins would be my pick for in-state guy. Yeah. If you're going to get to 3, I don't think you get Garch, and I think Eli Holstein's going to Bama, man. I mean, that's just my thought. I don't know. At the current moment, recruiting changes everything. Paul Bad says no Manning will ever come to LSU. Well, never say never. Never say never. But there was a Louisiana kid that did return this weekend, and that's Jarvis Drews Landry. Huge news dropping Friday. Let me ask y'all this. Thumbs up or thumbs down? Thumbs up or thumbs down? Was Sean Payton deliberately not going after LSU guys, in your opinion? Now, we'll talk about this in the Believe in Saints podcast on Tuesday. and I'll ask my co-host Terrence Copper this, but man, you signed Tyrann Mathieu and then you signed Jarvis Landry. Guys, 3 wide receivers that skill sets are different. Jameis doesn't have an excuse. Legitimately doesn't have an excuse. I think you still have some weaknesses. If Kamara's out for 6 to 8 weeks, you need a running back. But you went and signed your 2 biggest free agents this offseason are 2 LSU guys. Is that what's the word I want to look for here? Is that coincidence? I don't think that's really coincidence. Here's another thought. Sean was never really this aggressive in free agency. If you really, really, really think about it, the Saints have not been this aggressive in free agency. They were this year. Now, is that because, somebody pointed out, well, Dylan Allen wants to get the state of Louisiana behind him. That's why he signs Tyrann Mathieu and Jarvis Landry. That's BS. That's absolute BS. That's not true. Because Tyrann Mathieu and Jarvis Landry could and arguably be, I don't want to say the biggest free agency signings, but it's up there. It's up there, at least in what we've had the last couple of years. Usually the Saints have tried to build through the draft. Now, you ain't got Rabbit, Janoris Jenkins. I guess you could say you went back and got Malcolm Jenkins, but doesn't feel Tyrann Mathieu-esque to me. I mean, Malcolm was on the ender part of his career. Blake Doucette says, #ask Blake, Brees leaving NBC could be a comeback. No. Drew's not coming back, bro. I'm sorry. Drew, look, maybe he looks at that wide receiver core and says, hey, man, I can do this thing, but no. It seemed as if I was reading the NBC wanted him in studio and he wanted to call games, and they were like, dude, you're not that good at it. Might be the first time that Drew Brees has ever been told something in his life that hey, bro, you're just not that good, pal. And look, it takes a lot, because even I stumble. It takes a lot and a lot of time and practice to get behind the mic and talk. That's what makes Tony Romo so damn good at what he does. Guys, Tony Romo, people complain and moan and groan about Tony Romo. He's the best in the game. It's not close in my opinion. But I don't think it's a comeback for Drew at all. Like, at all. Aunt Marshall's guys says, I got to say, Jameis is the biggest free agent signing. Really? You think so? I don't know that. I don't know that. Tiki Tac Taco says Josh Booty's kid just committed to OU. General Booty. I saw that. I texted my buddy Josh this weekend. He says, would have been a nice sign and stash development. Yeah, I don't think that the kid look, man, I don't think that they want anything to do with LSU at the current moment. Dylan Smith says Tyrann is the top 5 Saints free agency signing of all time for sure. Yeah, I mean, you got Drew being the biggest. I'm trying to remember a free agency signing. Now, y'all can throw them inside the chat. What was it in Sean Payton's career outside of Brees? Because he had to go get a quarterback. Outside of Brees, what's the biggest free agency signing that they've done in 20 years? Bird didn't pan out. Emmanuel Sanders didn't pan out. I mean, he was good. I mean, it just didn't work like maybe we thought it would. I don't know. Vilma's a good one. Jonathan Vilma's a good one. I see a lot of people saying Darren Sharper, but man, I mean, you gotta be careful when you say Darren Sharper. Demario Davis is a good one. Let me ask you this: is it bigger than Tyrann Mathieu? Is Demario Davis bigger than Tyrann Mathieu? I think that I can make the argument that it's not in this state. Not in this economy. Adam B says not burnt toast, Eli Apple. But Eli was a trade, though. Eli wasn't a free agent. Ryan Williams says DeMario Davis, too. Yeah, true. I hear you. But we're going to talk in extreme depth Tuesday about it. I mean, we'll talk about it here. But, I mean, look, it's huge. You legitimately had Marquez Callaway and Dante Hardy as your returning guys because you didn't know what was going to go and happen with Michael Thomas. Now you're capable and comparable. Jameis does not have an excuse. There's zero excuses. Zero excuses why Jameis can't have success. Outside of injury, there's no excuses whatsoever. Forgive me. I don't know how to pronounce your first name, and I don't want to say it the wrong way, but Thomas on Facebook says production Darren Sharper. True. Mark Thibodeau says definitely not Jarius Byrd. Yeah, that dude did not pan out at all. Like at all. Oh, wrong button. Sean says Jeremy Shockey. I don't know about that one, man. Chris English says none of the names listed bigger than Matthew. Brees is the only free agent signing that is up there with Matthew. I would say Matthew's up there with Drew, right? I mean, maybe I think Pooh Bear was right on Jonathan Vilma. I think Vilma's a good one. But nevertheless, look, you got a guy that legitimately is a spark plug wide receiver. It's contagious, bro. It's contagious. Probably one of the best hard knocks lines or speeches of all time. It's contagious, bro. You got to go out there and want to practice, bro. It's contagious. Take a shot every time. Jarvis said contagious. Pooh Bear says Brees was huge for the team. Matthew is huge for the city. It's a good point. I mean, look, you get 3 or 4 good years out of Tyron, you win God forbid they win a Super Bowl. But to go back to the original point and comment about the LSU and Dennis Allen and the Saints, I don't think it's coincidence, man. There's been a lot of LSU players in free agency over the years. There's been a lot of players that you've needed at a position that you don't go and trade for. Like you go and trade for Eli Apple, but you don't go try to trade for Odell. I think that's a Sean Payton thing. Landon says, will LSU baseball be a threat next year? Well, they could be. I mean, Dylan Cruz returns, but you either in the transfer portal or in recruiting, you got to go get starting pitching. It's like there's not an argument about this. If LSU doesn't go out there and start getting some starting pitching, they're in a world of problems, in a world of trouble. So there's not a scenario where LSU's good or a threat in any season when their starting pitching is as bad as it is. You're not going to have Dylan Cruz and Jacob Berry every year. You're legitimately not. You got to have a guy that can give you 7 innings. None of these guys can give you 7 innings. None of them. Brandon Reese says it would be funny if Dennis Allen wins a few Super Bowls over the next few years. Yeah, it would make Sean look bad. I mean, look, it's kind of, and I know that we hadn't talked about Adam Miller, but it's when we talk about recruiting, when we talk about coaching, let me just throw this out there. This goes for Will Wade. This goes for Ed Orgeron. This goes for Brian Kelly. This goes literally for any coach when it comes to a recruiting aspect or going and recruiting and signing a free agent, right? Like the bottom line is this. sometimes the brand recruits itself. Was Will Wade a good recruiter, or was the LSU on his chest helping him? Like it's helping Mac McMahon, like it's helping Brian Kelly. Because I can make the legitimate argument, the absolute legitimate argument, that when you have something like LSU attached to your chest, it's a big deal. It helps you. 1,000% helps you. Mark Tibbetts says, what if Dennis Allen is the next NFL equivalent of Steve Kerr? I'm not going to be able to see Steve Kerr's name and not want to giggle. Golly, man. Donkey of the year goes to Steve Kerr. Maybe a lifetime. Adam B says, or was it the joint bank account? Oh, man. Chris English says, this is what I was trying to get or trying to say. But yes, I mean, if that's what you're trying to say, then yes. I mean, coaching and recruiting, sometimes you have to have the brand that fits to it. Nobody wants to go to cold-ass corn-fed Nebraska. Maybe in the 80s and 90s when they're paying players and they're innovative and they're doing something cool. Sure, everybody wants to go to Miami, but guys, believe it or not, Miami's a very high academic institute. Guys, believe it or not, as crazy as this sounds, Miami does have a high academic requirement. People want to go to Miami. They don't want to be a part of that academic prestige. Notre Dame has that same type of appeal. But nobody's going out to cold-ass Nebraska to pick corn and butter up their corn. What y'all eating tonight? Corn. Way down yonder on the Chattahoochee. Aunt Marshall says, Nick. Come on, man. Come on, man. Don't say it together, some of y'all. Come on, man. Come on. Pooh Bear says, please only say his name in a safe space. Yeah, I ain't saying it. I am not saying it. The son of Steve Kerr is what I'll say. Ain't no way. Baby Kerr, says Jeremy Marshall. No. The man's first name is Nick. God. How do you introduce yourself to people? I'm going to leave that to the Golden Boot podcast, man. They're going to have to do No, I'm washing my hands. Nope, I ain't getting involved in that. Ain't no way. I ain't getting canceled today. S. Young on YouTube says, do you think Jay Johnson can recruit elite players like he does hitters? I think that he can. The question is, can he get the pitching in here to sustain and help and adapt? Look, I'll tell you this. It's exhausting watching a Jay Johnson coach game. He walks out there, his baggy pants on. It's exhausting. Guys, the game shouldn't be lasting 4 hours. It's his coaching style. It's how he does things. It sounds good, but it's exhausting. Nevertheless, it's extremely exhausting. Aunt Marshall, you introduced yourself as Nicholas. Probably so. Oh, Pooh. I ain't putting that comment up there. Ain't no way. I did not. If there's one comment from G McGee Z, there's no way I'm putting it up there. Pooh, you ain't no way. Brandon Reed says, with the talent the Saints have, how many Super Bowls do you think DA can win in the next 5 years? One. Ryan Thibodeau says, Blake, you need specs. I need glasses? What I need glasses for? Landon says, is there an LSU football freshman that you're excited about? Yeah, I think Emory Jones is a big one I'm excited about. I'm excited about Harold Perkins. I'm still excited about Will Campbell and Walker Howard. Like, I'm still excited for those guys. But guys that haven't seen campus yet, I would say the Emory Jones. I think Emory Jones can push for some playing time. No doubt about it. Blake says Blake Doucette on Facebook says #Ask Blake. A&M gets TCU's head coach and he turned that program around year one. What's holding Jay Johnson back? Pitching. But again, Texas A&M was the worst team in the league last year. I mean, look, it's not when you have something that's a transitive property like that, and you have Schlossnagle going to Texas A&M and winning versus what you're doing. Okay. You're 1,000% going to get compared to it, and so he should. Guys, they were last in the SEC last year. They weren't good at all. So for that reason alone, Jay's going to have to, he's going to have to live up to that. I don't mean to be rude to Jay, but Jay called his players out Saturday, and nobody's really talking about it either. Right? Yeah. Jay's going to have to take that comparison. He's going to have to take that hit. He's going to have to take that lump. But I really, this is where I don't want to say bad reporting, but maybe not good reporting happened. Guys, Jay Johnson said in a post-game press conference that his team wasn't focused and ready to go, and they were playing lackluster. There wasn't a follow-up question. Coach, can you expound on that? What do you mean by that? What are they doing? Because it seems as if after he lost 2 games to Ole Miss and he couldn't get to it, the chances of hosting a regional went through the wayside. He started blaming his players. That's what context is huge there. You got to give him the out. Not the out, but you got to let him explain what is it that he means. Because again, when you have just that small of an answer and question, it's going to be because how do I receive that? What were the kids out on Thursday night? Were they out on Friday night? We don't have a rap song in here, I don't think, but was Mike Jones playing at the local club? What was going on? Were they doing the stanky leg? I really just don't know. What makes them say that they weren't focused? Way down yonder on Chattahoochee. Oh, don't bring Pat Casey up in here. But Bayou Bingo 84 says, man, Pat Casey was a candidate, right? Well, look where he got at Oregon State right now, right behind Tennessee. He hasn't been there in years, bro. I think, 3-4 years? Since 17, 18? No. Pat Casey covered up some stuff. No, absolutely not. Pat Casey's a doofus. You can't cover like Pat Casey covered up one of his players that was going to therapy for sexual assault. No. Boy, they canceled him. They canceled him, man, quick though. Man, that's the craziest thing about our society today, man. One click of the button that says tweet, and you could be canceled overnight for something you may or may not have done. So it's like last Monday or this past Monday where my weeks are colliding, like it's Doctor Strange 2. But my weeks are colliding. But when someone puts something out there about you, you got to fire back. Especially when it's not true. True Louisiana says, boot. Yep, I think he can too. Plus a secret deep threat in game-winning situations on offense. Marcus Como on YouTube says, you called it way before the season started about not having pitchers. Absolutely. Absolutely. They don't have a traditional starting pitcher. Not a guy that can give you 7. They don't have a Nola, a Cole Henry, Jared Poche, the list can go on and on. But they don't have that guy. And some of that does have to go on Jay a little bit. Only Jay. Mark Thibodeau says Sage Ryan better get with the program or he'll be or he'll be forgot about like Todd Harris. Guys, I don't mean this in the wrong way. The kid's a freshman. Guys, sometimes, even if they're a 5-star, sometimes it takes time for guys to get with the program. Do you think he wanted to get injured? Do you think that he wanted Ed Orgeron to call man-to-man coverage an entire game and put him in the slot of position he's never played? I mean, I get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. And I'm not completely disagreeing. But when do we put give kids some time? You know, when's that fine line? Yeah. S. Young says a lack of pitchers really on Jay in his first year. Is lack of pitchers really on Jay in his first year? Yeah, Schlossnagel, Texas A&M. I mean, how can you? That's like saying that one coach took a team from the last in the SEC West and made him second in the SEC West, and had to go recruit and get pitchers and get starting pitching and get complete new infield and things like that. Where Jay inherited Trey Morgan, Dylan Cruz, Gavin Dugas, Kay Doty, Jordan Thompson, Alex Milazzo, Kay Beloso, Pearson had already signed, Stevenson had already signed. Yeah, a little bit. I mean, he brought in Riley Cooper. Think about that for a minute. What would y'all do? Let me ask y'all this. Are y'all going to compare Billy Napier and Brian Kelly? Are you going to compare the seasons and the record and everything that goes on with Brian Kelly and Billy Napier? Because if you do, then what about Schlossnagel and Jay? I'm not calling for Jay to be fired. I don't think Jay's doing a bad job. I think that there are some realistic things that, good or bad. Last week, that I thought, we talked about how well they played, even in the field. But Jay and this team has to. You can't. What are we supposed to call it? Rainbows and unicorns? You know what, Pooh Bear? We're going to have a rainbows and unicorn session. Oh my God! Oh, Blake saying Jay Johnson should be fired. Not everything's rainbows and unicorns. Bayou says BK is way more proven than Napier. But you better damn well believe with two of those coaches coming in the same year and those teams that play each other every year, are you really not going to compare Billy Napier to Brian Kelly when you could have gone and gotten Billy Napier? Seriously. So you don't want to put it on Jay, and I understand it. Let him get through a year. Hell, give him 2 years. You got to be patient. But what I'm not going to do is saying, well, you didn't want Tony Vols, you didn't want Schlossnagel, you wanted Jay, and one guy completely turned A&M around. One guy's the number one coach in the country. All for the name of class. Blake, you can't have guys hitting home runs and doing bat flips. That's bullshit. That's not baseball. That's not the game anymore. And it's why kids are getting away from baseball. Flip that sucker. Let them have fun. It's entertainment. Sometimes we take the game a little too seriously. If you give up a bomb, let the dude do a bat flip on you. Now, if he disrespects you in some type of way, sure, knock his lights out. Punch him in the face like your name's Nolan Ryan. Be like Voldemort. Oh, Vadakadabra. I mean, I don't know what you got to do. Go Rocky on him. But or Michael B. Jordan. My name's Creed. Pop. Edward O says LSU baseball team got exposed for what they really are this weekend. Average. Maybe so. Maybe they did. But they got exposed this weekend. I don't think they got I don't think that they're average. Still think that they're a top 30 program. That's not average. In top 30. Alex says, but Napier knows the game better. Oh, shit. Knows what game better? Stop, Alex. Stop that. Knows what game better? Nurse Court fires right back. See, you always gotta you gotta trust the what do they call their podcast again? Pooh Bear. The Cougar Hour. Boy, I got quiet in here when them kids went outside to go swimming. Boy, they're so loud. God, and I'll let it be known, we are in the new studio, so we're not revealing everything yet. We're close. We got a couple of more things to do. So we are in the new studio, but we don't have a door so the kids can run in. But the setup's already starting. God, but they're so loud sometimes. Ryan Thibodeau says verdict on Napier is still out. Verdict on Brian Kelly at LSU still out. I mean, again, you're completely missing my point here. The point is you have Schlossnagle from TCU going to A&M, making them dead last to second in the SEC. A&M, not historically a great baseball school, versus Jay Johnson, who inherited, let's call it what it is, guys, he's got 4 potential first-round picks on his team, and they had fielding errors. Pitching's the name of the game. You didn't go get him. Why did A&M get him? Ed says, hashtag ask Blake, can you blaming the team publicly lose the locker room? Oh, if you're asking about Jay blaming the locker room or blaming the team and it lose the locker room, well, what else are you supposed to do? I mean, guys, I'm all for player empowerment, but sometimes you just can be soft. What you not focused on? What are they not? Why did Jay Johnson have to come out here this weekend and start bitching and moaning and saying the team wasn't focused and the lack of concentration wasn't there and they're playing lackluster? What does that mean? Oh, God. You read too many comments, man, and they twist your words around. Jeremy Marshall says you can't have Saban come back next year and chances are still not to win a championship in his first year. Baseball, football, basketball, ET, etc. Rome wasn't built in a day. No, but it was destroyed in it. Elvin says Mama Rufino lambasted that ass about them kids. That's funny. Pooh Bear, can you give me the definition? Can you pull up the definition of lambasted? Can somebody tell me what the definition of lambasted is? She did get on my ass. She's what, 5 months pregnant? Yeah, she's on my ass, boy. Now you're not going anywhere. Get outside. The kids are stopping and then running, stopping and running. No, yes. Get your butts outside. Ryan Thibodeau says, can't we pause on JJ coaching abilities? Pause on what? God, Ryan, again, you're missing the point. You're missing the point. Pooh Bears puts it in there. It's a verb. Lambasted means to criticize harshly. I don't know if she was criticizing harshly. So let's read this again. Mama Rufino criticized harshly that ass about them kids. That's funny. Doesn't fit context, really. Elwin. Doesn't really fit the context. Brandon Reese says, how many games you think the Saints will win next year? I say 12 or 11, 13. Come to the show Tuesday night. Believe in Saints podcast, we'll answer that. I think we already answered that last Thursday. So wherever you listen to podcast, go watch the show. Anthony Black says, sorry, late to the show. It's okay. It's okay. No problem, bro. But I think that you guys are missing the point of what I'm trying to say, right? Like, I'm not criticizing Jay in the reference of firing him or that the season hasn't been somewhat moderately successful. What I'm trying to say is that, yes, he has to face some criticism. Why shouldn't he when he has 4 guys that roughly could be drafted in the top 2 rounds? It's not fair. Apparently I can't read English. Apparently. Oh, well, I wasn't good at reading anyway. Really wasn't good reading anyway. All right, let's bring Pooh Bear in here, but let's do this. Let's pay some bills. Pooh Bear will join us. We'll wrap the show up. Let's talk about our good friend Carol Falls over at State Farm. But before we do that, I want to talk about my good friend John Patton over at GMFS Mortgage. If you're buying a new home, saving money on the mortgage that you have now, or even doing the cash out refi, the timing has never been better. Get in touch with John today at 225-614-1234. 225-614-1234. Tell him your good friend Blake Ruffino sent you on by. Back in 45 seconds, myself and Pooh Bear break it all down. Guys, you might know my good friend Carol Falls and all the great service that he provides over at State Farm. He is your good neighbor after all. But did you know State Farm has surprisingly great rates as well? Along with the great neighbor service, State Farm agent Carol Falls has surprisingly great rates for everyone inside the state of Louisiana. So call him today at 985-395-4300, 985-395-4300 for all of those surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, and individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to the State Farm underwriting requirements. All right, what's up, Pooh Bear? I mean, it was a good show, I thought. Good show. But, look, Pooh Bear, was I making sense? Because a lot of people, I guess, didn't understand what I was trying to say. Did you think, first off, look at that wood. Look at that wood behind you. Pause. Yes, pause. Did you handcraft that wood by yourself? Did you cut down the wood? Did you handcraft it?
Yes, I found the finest of grains.
All right, let me tell you something. I went to the store this weekend, and the only beer that they had that was really cold, the truck just got there. Miller Lite. I was like, oh man,
it's a sign.
I ain't drinking.
Sergio was right.
I'm walking out the store with some Miller Lights. All right, put them in the refrigerator. I was like, yeah, whatever. Bro, they're not that bad. A cold beer is a cold beer. But man, they're not that bad.
I think that's what separates a lot of beers. It's not necessarily is it good cold. Is can you stomach it once that beer sits there and you've had a conversation that starts to warm up? That's where you can determine the beer.
So, Pooh, let me tell you what I do. I put a cold beer in the freezer for about 8 minutes. I put like 2 of them, 3 of them, 4 of them. Yeah. I had another beer. What? Another beer. What? Okay. I put about 6 beers in the freezer, 8 to 10 minutes. Take them out, put them in the refrigerator, back in the refrigerator. I start cutting them puppies open, man. Delicious.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, nothing better than cold beer.
I got a tip for you and the viewers.
All right.
If you've got beer and you want it to get cold really fast, get a small cooler, put ice, water, and salt. Stir it up. It'll get your beer cold in minutes.
All right, my name is Blake Ruffino. I got to go drink some beer. Bye. No, I'm just joking. Pooh Bear, did you understand what I was saying? I mean, like, look,
I did.
So you have 2 coaches, okay, like Billy Napier and Brian Kelly will have a track record. They will be on the same lines.
It's what we did with, for instance, the coaching hire after Les was gone. We compared for years, or at least for the first 2 years, Tom Herman, his success at Texas versus Edo, and also Jimbo. Even though Jimbo I think he had been at, Texas A&M was he at Texas A&M then? I'm not sure. I don't think he was there. But the comparison of those coaches and what they did that following season compared to what Edo did. So it's not necessarily saying that this coach and this coach have the same caliber coaching style and their pedigree. This is saying that, hey, these are coaches we look to bring in, comparing them for what it is at that time.
S. Young says that McManus cost LSU 3 runs. McManus didn't throw a fastball down the middle of the plate for it to get rocked. I mean, sometimes things are going to happen, but yes, I agree. Pooh. I mean, they're going to be compared. There's no other resemblance. Like it's just something that's going to happen because it's what we do in sports.
Right.
You can't tell me if Billy Napier wins the SEC before Brian Kelly, people in our media and fans aren't going to freak out.
People are going to flip and they're going to start questioning Woodward until Brian Kelly comes in and wins those next 3 or 4. So.
Right. I mean, so there's not like a, I don't know why they try to justify it, but still.
But let's be honest. Billy Napier's in a instant better situation, and here's what I mean by that. He plays. I mean, he's coaching Florida in the East. They have Georgia to worry about, and some team. I mean, any day you know. Kentucky may or may not be Kentucky from last year.
Well, with the recruits that you can get, you should never be worse than second.
Right, in at Florida. So that's all I mean by that. I'm not saying that Florida's a better situation than LSU, but at an instant, Florida is set up to have more success until they switch to the pod system.
So, by the way, I forget who reported, but some Rudy Poo out in Texas. Apparently, we are going to pods. 4-team pods, and A&M said that they would consider leaving the SEC if they were putting a pod with Texas. Talk about soft.
Bye.
Right. See ya.
Yeah, have fun.
There's no way that they're leaving. Where are they going to go?
Oh, back to the Big 12 and still find themselves in 3rd, 4th place because they're not going to beat Baylor.
I mean, how can you be so scared of your biggest rival, the team that you actually want to play, and you just don't want to? I mean, line up. Like what? Pooh, if you were in a conference not in a conference with Alabama, and we're coming in. I mean, wouldn't you want to go in there and want to play them and kick? I mean, that's what the game's about. That's why it's a mentality of a fan base too, and a people, right? Bro, Jimbo would have never been able to survive here for 3 years with his coaching record. He would have been gone.
Right. And I'll say this now as I'm watching USFL, watching Houston and Pitt. Houston, who was coached by Kevin Sumlin. I want y'all to go back and look at those coaching records. Just saying, one got the door, one got 75 mil.
I can't dispute that. I mean, I have my theories. I mean, but here's the truth. Mm-hmm. Kevin Sumlin should have the same thing that was happening to him that's happening with Jimbo. Now, I think you can make an argument for some things that Jimbo's done better, like recruiting.
Right.
But, I mean, God, even beating Bama, bro. Even beating Bama in the same week. Oh, one day away from being the same day, Pooh.
I mean, Kevin Sumlin did it in Bama.
Right.
that's the only thing.
On the same day.
Yeah. So that's now I do want to go back and correct something. Elwin with the lambast.
Lambast.
The synonyms are criticize, castigate, chastise, censure, condemn, and to take to task. So technically that did fit, in there for but either way, we're gonna leave Mama alone.
Yeah.
Can Mama work the board? Because this bot has been maybe she can lambast the bot.
I don't know what's going on there. I've seen multiple podcasts. Like I watch a lot of live stream podcasts, not sports related. Like I watch what's that guy's name? Like David Bett is a guy that I watch. I think he's pretty intriguing. Dude, they're all in there. I mean, I don't know I don't know. YouTube, you better
I don't know. The weird thing is you can't click a link in YouTube, as far as I know. So what's the? I don't get the point of it other than it being annoying. But
somebody texted in the show, said it's Goat trying to get business. He called me out last night, bro.
Yeah.
He called me out last night. You can't do that. But yes, Adam Miller returns. Pooh Bear, what was the biggest? Oh wait, y'all going live at 7:30 on the Golden Boot podcast. What are y'all talking about tonight?
We're going to be talking about. Actually, ironically, we're not going to talk as much LSU. We're going to be talking about the Saints. We're going to talk NBA. I personally know we're going to lambast some people during altar call. So,
okay, is Steve Kerr on there?
He got it last week. We're gonna Steve's yeah, he's I wonder, is that the reason why he got
COVID?
I wonder if that was so it was COVID. I was thinking, I was like, man, did the NBA suspend him for naming his kid that? You know,
I don't know, bro.
Young Nicholas.
Bro, I can't. Because it's not what the word that it's pronouncing. It's that you did it. You know, that's that. Speaking of
here,
bot,
yeah.
All right, I guess that's our cue. All right, Pooh Bear. We'll see everybody Monday. Golden Boot Podcast tonight at 7:30. Y'all go check it out. All right, until then, y'all have a good night. Peace out, Girl Scouts.